Meghan Markle has spent years positioning herself as Hollywood royalty, a woman who left the palace to reclaim her place among the entertainment elite. She speaks of authenticity, of creative freedom, of building bridges between her royal past and her California present. And for a brief moment, it seemed like Hollywood's most powerful families were willing to give her a chance. The Kardashians, the ultimate architects of modern celebrity, allegedly extended an invitation that most people would never receive: access to Kris Jenner's private birthday celebration at Jeff Bezos' mansion, a gathering where billion-dollar deals are whispered over champagne, where A-list connections are made in hidden corners, where simply being invited means you have arrived. Meghan attended. Harry did not. And what happened during those few hours at that exclusive party has reportedly changed everything. Because within days of the celebration, sources claim every photo featuring Meghan disappeared from Kardashian social media, scrubbed, deleted, erased as if she had never been there. But here's what nobody is explaining publicly. What did Meghan do at that party that made the most photographed family in America decide she was too toxic to be associated with? What did Kris Jenner witness that turned a carefully extended olive branch into permanent rejection? This is not a story about awkward small talk or personality clashes. This is a story about what happens when desperation meets calculation, when social climbing collides with Hollywood power, and when the Kardashians decide you are not worth the risk. To understand what went wrong at Kris Jenner's party, you need to understand Meghan's history with Hollywood's elite circles. Long before she married Harry, long before the royal wedding and the palace drama, Meghan was working the same Los Angeles scene the Kardashians dominate. But here's what most people don't know. According to those familiar with the entertainment industry's inner workings, Meghan and the Kardashian orbit crossed paths multiple times over the years, but never in ways that suggested future alliance. Sources say Meghan was always on the outside, looking in. She attended some of the same events, moved through some of the same social circles, but never quite broke into the inner sanctum where real power resides. Word from people who witnessed those early years claims Meghan tried various approaches to gain entry. She positioned herself near influential producers. She cultivated relationships with stylists and publicists who worked with major stars. She showed up at the right restaurants, the right charity galas, the right industry parties. But insiders suggest there was always something calculated about her approach, something that made Hollywood's gatekeepers keep her at arm's length. They saw ambition, they saw strategy, they saw a woman treating every interaction as a transaction. And in an industry built on transactions, being too obvious about it marks you as an outsider. Was aware of, but not considered part of the family's extended network. And when she landed the role on Suits and began building a small following, sources say the Kardashians did not pay attention. She was not on their level. She was not playing their game. She was, in the brutal calculus of Hollywood hierarchy, irrelevant. That calculation changed when Meghan became a duchess. Suddenly, sources claim she was interesting. Not because of who she was, but because of what she represented. A bridge between royal glamour and American celebrity. The Kardashians, according to insiders, saw potential for mutually beneficial connection. They could elevate their brand with royal association. Meghan could gain Hollywood credibility through Kardashian endorsement. It was the kind of strategic alliance that makes perfect sense on paper until it does not. This is where the story shifts from possibility to disaster. So who arranged Meghan's invitation to Kris Jenner's exclusive birthday party? And more importantly, what promises were made to secure that access? According to sources familiar with the negotiations, the invitation did not come directly from the Kardashians to Meghan. It came through intermediaries, through mutual connections, who reportedly vouched for Meghan's value as a guest. Word from Hollywood circles suggests there was someone who believed bringing Meghan into the Kardashian orbit would benefit everyone involved. Someone who thought her royal title and global recognition would add prestige to an already star-studded gathering. Someone who allegedly promised Kris Jenner that Meghan would be gracious, discreet, and appropriately grateful for the access. People familiar with the arrangement claim this intermediary went out on a limb professionally, using their own credibility to get Meghan through the door. They assured the Kardashian team that Meghan understood the implicit rules of elite gatherings, that she would not use the party for self-promotion, that she would respect the privacy of other guests, that she would treat the invitation as the privilege it was rather than the platform she needed. And according to insiders, Meghan agreed to all of it. She expressed gratitude for the opportunity. She allegedly promised to be low-key, to blend in, to simply enjoy the evening without agenda. But sources close to what actually happened claim that once Meghan arrived at Jeff Bezos' mansion, once she saw the gathering of entertainment royalty and tech billionaires, as Meghan reportedly began working the room with an intensity that made other guests uncomfortable, this was not networking. According to those who witnessed it, this was desperation disguised as confidence, and it was about to blow up in everyone's face. As word of what happened at the party began spreading through Los Angeles entertainment circles, reactions split along predictable power lines. Want to know how the Kardashians really felt about Meghan's behaviour? Inside the Kardashian inner circle, sources say the response was swift and brutal. Multiple people familiar with the family's discussions claim that Kris Jenner was not just disappointed. She was reportedly furious. The party had been carefully curated, every guest list decision strategic, every element designed to project the image of exclusive, elevated celebrity. And Meghan, according to insiders, had violated the unspoken rules that govern such gatherings. She allegedly treated the party not as a social event, but as a business opportunity. She reportedly approached multiple high-profile guests with pitches, with ideas, with requests for connections and endorsements. People who were there claim she name-dropped her royal title repeatedly, framed herself as someone who could open doors to British markets and royal circles, positioned herself as a valuable partner for anyone willing to invest in her vision. But here's what made it unforgivable in Kardashian eyes. Sources suggest Meghan did all of this while allegedly disparaging the very institution that gave her the royal title she was leveraging. Insiders claim she spoke negatively about palace life, about the constraints and judgments she faced, about how she was finally free to be herself. This created a toxic contradiction that reportedly disgusted other guests. She was using royal connection while condemning royal institution. She was profiting from the title while playing victim of the system. Meanwhile, back in Montecito, Harry was reportedly unaware of how the evening was unfolding. Sources close to the couple suggest Harry did not attend because he avoids large Hollywood gatherings, preferring smaller, more intimate settings. But people familiar with the situation claim Harry's absence was strategic for Meghan. She wanted to work the room without him beside her, without having to manage his discomfort with celebrity culture, without his presence reminding people she was once part of an institution she now criticised. And across the party, other power players were watching and making calculations. According to insiders, Jeff Bezos himself allegedly witnessed some of Meghan's interactions and found them off-putting. Tech billionaires and entertainment moguls who could have been valuable allies reportedly came away from conversations with her feeling used rather than impressed. But here's what most people don't know. What exactly did Meghan do that crossed the line from ambitious to unforgivable? The whispers emerging from party guests paint a picture of escalating behaviour that started uncomfortable and ended in disaster. The first whisper involves what sources describe as Meghan's approach to photography. According to people who were there, Meghan allegedly positioned herself strategically near the most famous guests whenever cameras appeared. Not in an organic way, but in what insiders describe as obviously calculated moves. She would allegedly drift toward Kim Kardashian when photo opportunities arose, insert herself into group shots with billionaires, angle herself to be included in frames capturing the party's most powerful attendees. Sources claim other guests noticed and found it desperate. The second whisper is more damaging. Multiple people familiar with the party allege that Meghan spent significant time pitching business ventures to guests who had not asked and clearly did not want to hear them. According to insiders, she allegedly approached people with proposals for collaborations, asked for introductions to their business partners, requested endorsements for Archewell initiatives. Word from attendees suggests she treated Kris Jenner's birthday celebration like a networking event rather than a social gathering. And in elite circles, that kind of behaviour marks you as someone who does not understand the culture. The third whisper cuts even deeper. Sources claim that Meghan allegedly spoke about her royal experiences in ways that made other guests uncomfortable. She reportedly framed herself as a victim of institutional racism while simultaneously leveraging her Duchess title for credibility. People who overheard these conversations claim she criticised the palace's treatment of her while pitching projects that explicitly relied on her royal connection for commercial value. This created what insiders describe as cognitive dissonance that troubled even sympathetic listeners. And the fourth whisper is what allegedly sealed her fate. According to multiple sources, Meghan reportedly made a comment about the Kardashian brand that Kris Jenner overheard or was told about. Insiders will not specify exactly what was said, but they suggest it was disparaging, suggesting Meghan saw the Kardashian empire as somehow less legitimate than royal heritage. And in that moment, sources claim Kris Jenner made the decision that Meghan would never be welcomed into their circle again. To understand how Meghan secured access to that disastrous party, you need to understand the gatekeepers who made it possible. So who opened the door that should have stayed closed? Two figures emerge as critical architects of this failed connection. The first is someone in the entertainment industry who reportedly believed that brokering a Kardashian-Sussex alliance would elevate their own status as a Hollywood connector. Sources describe this person as a mid-level player who saw opportunity in the potential collaboration between America's reality royalty and Britain's actual royalty. Insiders claim this gatekeeper worked multiple angles to make the introduction happen. They allegedly spoke to Kardashian team members about the publicity value of being photographed with Meghan. They pitched to Meghan's circle about the business opportunities that could flow from Kardashian endorsement. They positioned themselves as the bridge between two worlds that had never properly connected. And according to those familiar with the negotiations, they oversold both sides. They allegedly told the Kardashians that Meghan understood how to move in elite circles, that she would be an asset, etc. So it's at the party. They told Meghan that the Kardashians were eager to connect, that this was an opportunity to rebuild her Hollywood credibility. Neither claim was entirely accurate. The second architect is more surprising. Word from entertainment insiders suggests that someone in Meghan's own team advised against attending the party, warning that it could backfire if not handled perfectly. Sources claim this advisor recognised the risk, understood that one misstep at a Kardashian event could damage Meghan more than boost her. But according to people familiar with the internal discussions, Meghan overruled that caution. She allegedly believed she could work the room successfully, that her royal title would open doors and hearts, that one night with Hollywood's most connected family could reverse her declining cultural currency. She saw opportunity where her advisors saw danger. And she insisted on attending despite the warnings. These two architects, one who pushed too hard to make the connection happen, and one who failed to prevent the disaster, both now reportedly face consequences. The industry gatekeeper has allegedly lost credibility with the Kardashian camp and is no longer trusted to make introductions. And the advisor who warned against attending but could not convince Meghan reportedly left her team shortly after, unwilling to continue counselling someone who ignores counsel. What makes this situation truly dangerous for Meghan is not what the public knows. It is what the Kardashians documented. Want to know what evidence exists that could destroy Meghan's Hollywood dreams completely? According to sources close to the Kardashian operation, the family has extensive documentation of that party. Not just photos that were deleted, but video footage, text messages, witness statements from other guests. Insiders claim the Kardashians document everything, not for malicious purposes, but because their brand depends on controlling their narrative. They need to know exactly what happened, exactly who said what, exactly how events unfolded. And in Meghan's case, sources suggest that documentation is devastating. People familiar with what was recorded claim there is footage of Meghan's aggressive networking, her calculated positioning for photos, her intensity when approaching billionaire guests. There are allegedly text messages between Kardashian team members during the party, noting concern about Meghan's behaviour and discussing whether to intervene. There are reports written by security personnel who witnessed interactions and flagged them as unusual. And most damaging, according to insiders, there are statements from multiple high-profile guests who were approached by Meghan and found the experience off-putting. These witnesses allegedly include people whose opinions matter enormously in Hollywood, people who now view Meghan as someone to avoid rather than embrace. Word from those familiar with the Kardashian position suggests the family has no plans to release this documentation publicly. They do not need to destroy Meghan to protect themselves. They simply need to ensure she never gets close to their brand again. But the existence of this evidence creates a permanent sword hanging over Meghan's head. She knows they know. She knows they documented everything. She knows that one more misstep, one more attempt to force her way into circles that have rejected her could result in information leaking that confirms every criticism ever made about her character. And the Kardashians know that simply deleting the photos and declining future invitations sends a message that everyone in Hollywood understands without needing explicit explanation. When the Kardashians erase you, you stay erased. And now we reach the final moment, the point where everything converges into an inescapable reality. How do you rebuild in Hollywood after the Kardashians delete you from their world? Meghan faces a brutal truth that no amount of royal title or Netflix deal can change. The Kardashians are Hollywood's ultimate gatekeepers. Their endorsement opens doors, their rejection closes them. And by deleting every photo of Meghan from that party, by scrubbing her from their social media as if she never existed, they sent a signal that everyone in entertainment understands. She is not one of us. She does not understand our world. She is not worth the risk. Sources close to Meghan claim she is devastated by the rejection, though she frames it publicly as her choice to distance from celebrity culture. But insiders who know the truth suggest she understands exactly what happened. She had one chance to prove she belonged in Hollywood's elite circles. She had one opportunity to show she could navigate power with grace rather than desperation, and she allegedly blew it by treating Kris Jenner's birthday celebration like a business transaction rather than a social honor. The consequences are already visible. Word from entertainment industry insiders suggests other major celebrities have noticed the Kardashian rejection and drawn their own conclusions. Invitations that might have been extended are being quietly withdrawn. Opportunities that seem possible are evaporating. Doors that were slightly ajar are closing firmly. Because in Hollywood, association is everything. And associating with someone the Kardashians rejected is a risk most people will not take. What makes this particularly painful for Meghan is that it confirms the pattern she cannot escape. The palace rejected her. The British public rejected her. Hollywood is now rejecting her. And at some point, sources suggest she will have to face the possibility that the common denominator in all these rejections is not institutional racism or jealous rivals or tabloid manipulation. It is her own behaviour, her own choices, her own inability to understand that power is not taken by force. It is granted by those who already hold it. And the Kardashians have decided that Meghan Markle will never hold power in their world. The photos are deleted, the connection is severed, and the door is permanently closed. Because when Hollywood royalty erases you from their story, there is no palace to run to, no title to hide behind, no institution to blame. There is only the reality that you gambled on one night and lost everything. And everyone is watching what happens when you fall without a net. Subscribe to Royal Unfiltered for more such news. Thanks for watching.